Welcome to the Sandbox, the #1 podcast for Sandbox gamers and hardcore PvP action. But be warned, viewer discretion is advised. And now your hosts, Bullet, Twink, and Nate Style.
Hey, welcome to episode number 42 of the Sandbox. Today we're going to talk about some changes to the subscription model to Perpetuum. The Shadowbane emulator opens its floodgates. We learn more about ArcheAge's launch. Not a lot, but some. Fallen Earth news, and we're going to talk about, we're about to embark on Albion Online's alpha for the second time and what we got going on there. But first, with me as usual is Nate Rao.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And the mighty Quint.
Hey, I got my nice beer here, ready to
Nice.
roll.
I've got iced tea.
Oh,
I've got water.
So, what have you guys been playing?
I'll go ahead, Nate.
Me first? Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I got a long list of games. So I kept playing some of the Secret World. It's a good game, man. I love that game. But I've got to the second zone, working through that. It was harder than expected because I was working on a brand new build. So kind of gone back and run some of the first zone content to get better prepared for the second zone. And then I decided to get in the WildStar beta and check it out. Played it all of 10 minutes. I don't know, man. That game.
How was the end game? I was kidding.
Yeah. My 5-minute impression is very bland. I don't know. It seems like a regular theme park to me.
Yeah, I played it for probably about 4 hours. I had the same impression. I did some PvP. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. You know.
Yeah. Well, the combat, it looks pretty nice. Very crisp. Some weight feeling behind it. Very action.
How does the combat compare? I haven't tried it at all, and I haven't really watched any videos or anything.
I guess imagine the Secret World.
Okay.
I don't know. It would be with some, not Terra necessarily. Yeah, maybe Guild Wars. It advertised everything on the ground. So not just the mobs, but you, and not just AoEs, everything. So if you had a spell that's going to hit, this cone, it's going to show you that cone.
Oh, okay.
Overly advertised, and Cool was saying when you got into PvP, it's just stuff on the ground everywhere.
Just everywhere. Guild Wars was like that, too. I remember that. Seeing just red circles pop up all over the place.
This is like that times 5.
Uh-oh.
I would say.
Double jump, move through the game world fluidly. Graphics look really nice. It doesn't perform well, even on it seems like a decent computer.
Really?
The frame rates aren't there. So I
didn't have that problem, but I know that you did, and I know that Butch did. But then when I played it, Butch didn't have that problem. So maybe it's a peak hour type issue that they're having now, or something.
Yeah, I'm building a new computer, so when I get that built, I'll dive back in and check it out. But I wasn't happy with my frame rates at all. Then I some SO beta last weekend. I dove in, got to the almost made the PvP like 9.5 timer now.
Oh my gosh!
But that's fine. I'm not worried about it. I bought the game, pre-ordered the Imperial Edition, so I'll be there to check out PvP when it comes out. So I actually didn't hate the PvE as much as I did the last 2 beta weekends.
Yeah, they've made a lot of improvements.
So you moved out of hate into just mild dislike, or
yes,
are you starting to like it?
Mild dislike. The combat I actually like now. I think 2 beta weekends I hated the combat.
Were you playing the same class through all that?
No, I was constantly trying something different.
Maybe it's a class thing. Maybe there was a class you didn't like as much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I slowed down a little bit. I wasn't trying to rush to 10. That kind of helped with the story a little bit. Yeah. Well, I had a lot going on. I had kids that weekend and stuff too. So I'm still into Star Wars Galaxies. although I've kind of pulled back a little bit from that to play some other stuff, all these betas I'm in. Then I got back into Perpetuum. I guess we'll go over why in a little bit, but that game is still good. Population's low, but I guess there was 20 people in game a week ago, and now there's over 100. That's better.
Oh, wow. It got down that low?
Yeah. Shadowbane emulator. Got into some of that this weekend. Never played it before, so I'm in an old school, crappy graphics, leveling the guy up. I haven't got to any in-game stuff, none of the Guild Wars stuff or PvP, so, my opinions on that are like wait and see, I guess, once I get there.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I've been playing the shit out of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
That game is awesome.
Finally.
It's a lot like old school game, like I guess like Metroid, Super Metroid. You know how the level design in Super Metroid was, where you would unlock paths, it would loop back into other paths, and you would get items, open up other pathways. Man, it's so good.
Yeah, it's like if you took Metroid, Castlevania, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and just put it all together. Right,
and it's just challenging enough to where when you die, you feel like if I just do this one thing differently, I'll get through this part, and then 2 hours later, you're on the same boss trying to figure out what the hell you're doing wrong. It's a great game.
Yep.
Very pleasantly surprised, but I didn't think it would be for me, and then once I kind of got it, here I am 12 hours later.
That was the problem I had with it. It's like I tried so long I was almost forcing myself to play it for like the first 3 hours and just like, I got to find out what it is about it that makes it so addicting to people and what people love about it. And then once you get it, you got it,
Yep, exactly. That's it for me.
When I played Dark Souls, just to kind of jump in on the Dark Souls thing, is I see what you say about once you get it, you got it. Because at first it seems like it's very confusing. It's not as confusing. It's just really hard to figure out what you're supposed to do and how to build your character. And you die a lot. And then how you start over. What are you supposed to do? You're alive. You're dead. All this stuff. But what always hangs me up is every time I play it, it makes me want to play Mortal Online. I don't know why.
Really?
Because it kind of has that combat a little bit.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but kind of. And I always opt for character evolution. Well, I know that you have character evolution there as well, but more of a one that you can show people, I guess. So what else have you been playing, Quint? Or should we call you Dragonborn?
Yeah, right. No, I have been doing some more Skyrim Dragonborn, just kind of slowly progressing through that content. I'll give it an hour here or there. I'm not even very far into the expansion, but it is good. Like I said last podcast, it's challenging compared to vanilla Skyrim. There's a lot in there that's makes it tougher. So not a whole lot to report on that. I have been playing some more Oblivion as always. Rolled a new character, started up just a pure paladin class, the healing, some conjuration for turn undead, and sword and shield, heavy armor, that kind of stuff. I installed a new mod for it. It's called the Oblivion Character Overhaul 2.0. I had 1.0 and it vastly improved upon character models and all that stuff. 2.0 takes it to another level. Game looks a whole lot better. It's pretty awesome. Thank God for mods.
Yeah, that same engine made games like Rift. So that engine can make good character models. They just weren't like that in vanilla Oblivion.
Oh yeah, and it's crazy. It was just the generation of time between Oblivion and Skyrim. I mean, as far as even the consoles go, because I've been playing it on PS3. Also, I picked it up on PS3 for my girlfriend because she was wanting to try it out, so I give her something to do as well. But you just look at like the comparison between Oblivion on Oblivion on PS3 and Skyrim on PS3. It's pretty gnarly. I don't know. I
wonder if they'll ever remake those games for the new consoles. I doubt they will, because that would probably take a lot to do, but it's kind of sad that they don't. Such classic games that
That's why PC versions are awesome, especially with these games. You can patch the crap out of them.
Oh yeah. just keep them looking good like Morrowind, you know? Get that game looking awesome. My Morrowind looks better than Oblivion.
Really?
Well, the world does. Not the character models, but the world.
That Morrowind Overhaul 3.0 is awesome.
Yeah.
I got to check that out.
It's pretty cool.
Because that game was always, I always kind of liked that game more than Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
Less than Skyrim, but more than Oblivion. Just because it seemed to have, I don't know, it almost seemed to have more depth. I don't know if that's possible, but.
Yeah, it does. The combat is very much more like behind the scenes than Oblivion or Skyrim. And then it's a lot more old school. There's no pathways to going anywhere.
Yeah.
They kind of tell you where to go, and you got to look at the map and like the terrain to figure out how to get there rather than a pointer.
Well, the combat in Morrowind is dice roll based. So you swing, but it rolls a dice to decide whether you hit or not. I actually didn't like that, so I put a mod on my Morrowind that makes it like true combat. Whatever you swing at, you hit unless they block. So... But
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What's that?
I didn't start the audio recording.
We could strip it from the
let's do that.
video.
So, that's all good. One thing I did pick up this week was I got the Stick of Truth on the PS3, and that game is a riot. Holy crap, man!
How far did you get?
I got it. I sat there for like 6 hours straight and I didn't move. And nice. I don't know exactly how far I am in the game because it's kind of just big open world to run around and do things as you run around. But I guess I might be a decent way in. I mean, I'm at least probably 10 hours in. They say the game's like 14 hours. So, but I
beat it Monday, Sunday, like a week ago.
Yeah, but I'm literally like doing everything. Like every area I go to, I completely scour because you can pull up a little crosshair reticle for your bow, and you can scour over every item in the terrain, and you can shoot things down or find secrets. And so I'm kind of trying to do it completionist status, but it's awesome, man. That game is so freaking funny.
Yeah, make sure you go into every house.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see some of the crazy shit, man.
Yeah. The people in South Park are effed up.
It stayed consistently funny from start to finish.
That's good. That's encouraging. I like that. So
yeah, I'm gonna wait on that one. I'll wait for a Steam sale. Too much to play.
It'll be $30 probably in the winter sale, I'm sure, or the summer sale.
Yeah.
Also, I've been hitting some Dark Souls, but I have not gotten far since last time at all. I think I'm kind of been determined. I found this boss, and it's this giant ass wolf, like bigger than a house, and he's got this huge sword in his mouth that he just swings at you. And I've been stuck on this boss for over a week now. I'll log in like once a day and give him about 4 or 5 good tries, and then when I can't do it, I'm like, all right, done for now. Come back tomorrow.
Have you tried to look online to see if there's any secrets to it?
And most bosses kind of have a weak point, or you can summon an NPC helper to come help you get through it, something like that. This guy, as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that. The only thing that you can do is try to be quick enough to get underneath his stomach and hit him from below him, because then he can't swipe you with the sword if you're below him. The only
shot.
Yeah, exactly. But the only problem is it's like he jumps far back, and then when you try to run in, he just swipes you down with that sword, and 2 hits even through blocking, and you're dead. So I've been having a tough time. I might decide to abandon that for now and go a different route, because I know there's other stuff I could do. I just am being stubborn,
It's the painful thing about that game is you have to. So sometimes you have to like fight through a bunch of mobs to get to them, and then when you die, you have to fight through those mobs again to get to them, right?
Yeah. Well, the easy thing about this is there really are no mobs between the campfire and him. It's just a 2-minute run, if that. The only reason I don't want to give up on it is because I've got like 6,000 souls and 2 or 3 humanity on my corpse in there, so I can't run in there and then run out because he's behind a white wall, So I phase in, I run and pick up my souls.
You grab it every time first.
Yeah, and then I try to fight him and then die.
So if you log out of the game,
it's still there.
Your corpse is still sitting there. Oh, that's good.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I would keep playing until I would get out of that point. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's persistent. So, And then I guess the last thing I've been up to is not really game related, but it kind of leads into something. Is I've been on a kind of a Vikings TV show binge. I got Amazon Prime. I know you guys were into that when it was on, but I'm like, I'm just finishing up season 1. I got like 3 episodes left. I started a couple days ago.
We went deep in the Viking rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
So I've been watching this TV show. It's so freaking rad, dude. It's really good, and it's
so now what you have to do now is you have to get the audiobooks for the books for the Saxon Stories by Bernard Cornwell.
Wait, so there's books?
Oh my God, the books are so much better than. I mean, the TV show is great.
Yeah,
but the books are so much better.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
the
that
books
tomorrow.
are incredible. Now the show isn't based on the books, but it's kind of the same part of time.
Yeah,
because you actually understand the show better after reading the books. They're not. I don't think they're connected anyway.
Right.
But because it talks about how the Saxons being the Christians versus the Vikings with like their gods, like Odin and Loki, whatever. How there's all this difference of opinions on, like, they keep saying, well, the Christian God's such a weak God. Yeah. Anyway, we don't even get into that much, but the books are awesome, dude.
Okay,
you learn about the shield wall, and you learn about how to fight in a shield wall.
Nice.
Yeah. So there is a game on Steam. What'd they make?
It's like Chivalry, right?
Yeah. What'd they make? Was it the War of the Roses?
Yeah. So they have the Viking version, right?
Really?
Right. So I have one of my friends bought it, and so I messaged him. I asked him, so are there shield walls? And he said, yeah, people do kind of get together their shields, but not really. So there's not a game mechanic that makes a shield wall work. So,
well, what it has been making me want to do is actually, I've been thinking about resubbing to Dark Age of Camelot for a month and just go playing in Midgard and just messing around, see how far I get, because it's kind of it's giving me a craving for that atmosphere and that world.
Have you seen Mark Jacobs? I think is his name, right? The guy who's doing
yeah, I think so.
What is it called? Camelot Unchained. Have you seen some of the Viking artwork that he's been putting out?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
it looks.
Did you see the new one? It's got the big giant beard dude with
Joe Tran or Joe Tran.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game.
So
you gotta. I mean, there's so many games right now, though. I wouldn't mind going back to Dark Age of Camelot.
I know.
But I played Hibernia.
Well, yeah, and we got Albion coming up. The alpha, and then Elder Scrolls Online launches in a week and a half or something like that, or a week.
A week.
Oh man,
we don't know exactly what day it launches. So it's
It'll probably
supposed to launch on the 4th or the 5th, right?
Yeah, that's the release date, but we get early access. So
then you get 5 days early access, which is going to put us at Sunday or Monday, right?
It'll probably be the 31st.
God, I'd be pissed if it's Monday. That just doesn't make sense. That would just be mean, I think.
Yeah.
So, talking about a lot of games to play. I mean, the other day we were talking about, I think it's because I was playing Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I just said, I'm just going to log into my Immortal account just for a minute. And that's all it took. It's a resubbed. Been playing it constantly. So let me just kind of go into that just a little bit, because Mortal Online, everyone says, it's a harsh game. Yeah, you die a lot. There's penises. You can turn those off now, by the way. And I don't think the horses pee anymore either. But besides that, there's like there's a lot of depth. It's very immersive. It's one thing about that game is you play it, and it's different than any other MMO, in my opinion. I think it's surpassed Darkfall as my favorite MMO of all time, because there's just little things. Like, I created this character, and I was going domination. Domination is different than taming, but similar. So when you tame a monster, you're like, come here, I'm going to be cool to you. When you dominate, you're like, come here, I'm going to kill you. But the skill domination allows you to dominate different creatures than you can tame. The downside to it is that you can't trade. Like, if I tame a horse, I can give it to one of you guys.
Right.
Domination doesn't work that way. So anyway, I'm kind of going a long way around the story. So what I had to do was I had to, get domination, get my it's under a magic skill, so I'd get my magic up, then I'd get my domination up, and then domination took me to 70, the first book, And then I think the second book, one of the books we remember we were trying to, so we had to sneak around this town and kill these people to get their heads. But the problem is that there's guards all over, and if you carried their head, the guard would grab you and kill you.
Yeah, they'd sense you. Not every time, but every once in a while, they'd get you
Right.
good.
And there's some, like, who knows if they're looking at you or, and then we found out there's this skill you can buy and learn and train up called connections, which allowed you to carry stolen goods or goods, illegal goods. So Quentin and I, like, set off one time, and I had 2 characters logged in, and so he was going to kill the guy, then loot the stuff, and then get killed, and then my guy was going to come and loot him to get the bow back that we used to kill him. And so we do all this, we get one head and realize that we would need like 30 of these heads.
Yeah, and it took
was
forever just to get one.
Right. And then we got 2, and I got 1 to a bank, and then we found out you basically need this other skill. Then I started another character to level up that skill. Anyway, long story short, I ended up buying it on the auction house for a lot of money. Then to get the next book in the domination chain, it just keeps going. It gets harder and harder. Finally, I got all my domination to 100. And then I had to get the lore. So what I wanted to dominate was a minotaur. And if you know what a minotaur is, it's like part cow, part person. Is that what you say it would be?
Yeah, it's like a bull man.
Yeah.
So you have to learn. So in order to get my lore up for a person, I had to find corpses of real players and cook them. And that got my lore up. Then I had to go out, and what I did was I dominated, is a tar, I think that's what they're called, a gar, Guar. And I dominated one of those and had to attack another one, and so it would just keep dropping its corpse. And then I would cook that to get my bovine skill up to cover the cow part of the human cow. So finally I got all that up to 100. And excuse me, I had to go and find this cave. So I finally found this cave, walk way out in the middle of nowhere. Luckily there's a priest right outside. So if I die, I can resurrect outside. So I go there and I figure out, and I walk into the cave and I find some minotaurs, and they're like the wrong ones. You can't tame them because they're too high level. Then I find out that if you take a right down this tunnel, then there's these lower level minotaurs that if you have a party of people together and you kill them all and then they respawn at low levels at first, then you can tame them. But to get there, it's like this long cave torch. So I didn't bring a torch. So then I got one of my other characters from another account, filled him up with torches, ran all the way back to the cave, logged out, got some guy to help me, really nice guy actually. His name was Trome. Him and I worked on it for 4 hours trying to tame these minotaurs. Still haven't done it, but there's just a lot to that game. That's just one little skill set, really having a lot of fun in it. There's more to it than PvP. When I'm in that cave, a lot of times some guy will just roll by and just kill me, but there's a lot of people who are willing to help as well. It was cool. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was there, I was diving into mining and extracting, and that was very convoluted and in-depth, which is why I like this game over Darkfall.
Yeah, everything in Mortal is.
There's just so much to it, but you still get the great action combat. Although, I mean, Darkfall does the action combat better, but they lack the depth that Mortal has.
Yeah, I don't know, though. I mean, one of the things that I like about Mortal's combat, it's not as fast-paced as Darkfall's, but I feel like there's more strategy. You gotta hold your you hold your swings, and you gotta know when to release, and the archery is all about how far you can draw your bow back with your character's strength before you run out of stamina, and what point you're supposed to release to get the most damage. There's a lot of weird things with Mortal's combat.
So like a good bow to me may not be a good bow to you unless we have the exact same stats. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm working. That's another thing about it is you only have so many skill points to spend on a character. And it really is a game if someone likes to min-max, to really get in there and kind of like, well, this is like right now I'm trying to make a character that's a tamer and an archer. and I also want him to have really, fast run speed and riding. So I'm going to have to sacrifice some things. I'm not going to be able to do melee hardly at all, but hopefully I will have a good pet to do the melee for me.
Right.
Anyway, you kind of see how it's just a deep game. Really into that, almost to the point where I wouldn't mind if Elder Scrolls got pushed back a couple weeks because I'm so into it. And something always gives, right?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I had fun in the Elder Scrolls beta when it just came out. We did I leveled another character to 10 instead of using my other one because I wanted to test the exact build I wanted to do at launch, and had fun in the PvP again. I think that once the game goes live, I'll be more interested in the PvE end of it, so that I can start building my character for PvP. So the PvE is going to feed the PvP. Going out there, getting the mats to craft, get some of that in the PvP zone as well. I also thought about taking my my character to 15 before I started PvPing, so that I could get the switch weapon skill.
Yeah, that's really useful.
So as a Nightblade, which I am, I could use 2 daggers. But one thing I found out so you have your class skills,
Yes.
and then you have your weapon skills.
Mm-hmm.
So like dual wield weapons have a attack, but my class skills also have some attacks, which is interesting because if I equip a bow, then I lose the attack skills for my dual wielding. But when I use a bow and I'm close to somebody, if I use my class skills, there's like a weapon comes out of nowhere and it still uses them.
Yeah, because it's I guess it's considered magical or something like that,
Yeah, so it kind of made me think about my build, because I can still do, the only reason I had the dual weapon skill in there was so it would level as I was going.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is I think you can shoot at 0 range too, right? With the bow, you can use the abilities at close range.
I didn't try because I've got better skills at close range with my. Well, I don't know. At least because I didn't put any points into archery yet, so I don't really know that stuff very much. But I had this skill where I go invisible or stealth, even in combat, for 2.5 seconds, and then I use this other skill that stuns the person. So that's always my option when I get up close. Anyway, kind of going down that a little bit too deep, but so the builds there are going to be interesting as well, I think. What else I played? I played Perpetuum. I've got 3 accounts in Perpetuum now. We'll talk about that in a minute, I think. Also, there's this game on Steam I bought this game a while ago, not on Steam, but on their website, called Planet Explorers. Have you guys tried that at all?
I haven't heard of it.
No, not yet.
It looks a lot like EverQuest Landmark. What's cool about it is you make guns. I know you laugh. It doesn't look exactly like
okay.
Landmark. Just to let you know. It's an inside joke. What's cool about it was I was about ready to give up on the game, and then I made a rifle. And then when you equip your rifle, it goes to like first-person shooter mode, which was pretty cool. You can also make turrets, and I didn't get far enough, but I think you can make ships to fly around in. So I bought it a while ago. I sent them an email because I saw it was on Steam Greenlight, and they sent me a Steam key. So I played it for about 5 hours. It was pretty cool. WildStar beta, played that. I don't think I'm buying that game. With all the other stuff we're talking about.
I'm not buying it. Albion, Alpha, Elder Scrolls. I want to play Mortal afterwards. There's too much I want to do, and this game is way too close to Elder Scrolls. So,
well, I don't think it's close. It's too close to a lot of things, I think. I didn't play it past 10, so I can't really be too judgy on it, but it just was so easy. It was just like, it was kind of like there was no challenge, and it was just kill, rinse, repeat. But I don't know. Maybe they'll change it. Maybe, there's too much to play right now. I tried. So Shadowbane MU, played that a little bit. I guess the news about that is that I've been in the beta for a couple of years since we did that interview with them a long time ago, but they open up the beta the emulator to everyone. Anyone who can play, if they go to, what is it, shadowbanemu.com?
Either that or Shadowbane emulator, one of the two.
Yeah.
Just go there and register, and you can
Go
get
to
in the
Google.
game. Yeah.
Go to Google and look up Shadowbane emulator. I mean, if you like Shadowbane, this is it, right?
It plays great.
Plays great, runs smooth. Seems like the whole game's there. It's just a matter of if you want to play Shadowbane again. And if you love Shadowbane, I would get over there and start playing. Besides that, like I said a few shows ago, bought the kids the PlayStation 4. Right. There's nothing for me to play on that game. I'm telling you. There's nothing. So I've been playing. The kids like the Legos. Lego games have come a long ways, man.
Yeah.
Long ways.
You get the superhero one, right?
I got the Marvel one and the movie one.
Yeah, the Marvel one's cool.
It's like, it opens up like Grand Theft Auto kind of, It's like you run around, although you can take people's cars too. They're like, oh, here, have it. It must be for superhero business.
Grand Theft Legos. So
my 4-year-old loves playing that, but he can't really get anywhere in it yet. So he's always, I don't know. There's a circus. We haven't gotten enough silver or gold Legos to open the circus. And he just keeps saying, let's go in the circus. Anyway, so I don't really know how to do it. I'm not really interested in playing it, but, I do it for him. So that's pretty much what I've been playing. Let's talk about some news.
All right. Well, first things up, what's the deal? Fallen Earth looks like it's getting some player built housing or player designed housing. How did this work?
No, it sounds like that's what it is. It's player built towns.
Okay.
So there's one or two of these in the game.
Uh-huh.
It's a unique system that combines PvE, PvP, and like building around a town and expanding it.
What were those other towns called that they had in there?
That was a progress town.
Town. Sounds kind of the same to me.
I don't know if this is that or not, but they're basically putting a player-built town. They have one in game already. They're putting a newer, bigger one in the game somewhere else. So I think this is a good example of just Fallen Earth expanding their game and what you can do wide instead of vertical. I
think that's great. I love the game. I don't play it. We've played it all. We've all played it together, but I haven't played it recently, and I want a reason to go back to that game.
Yeah.
This is not the reason. I don't see this as being it, but if it was free-for-all, apocalyptic, carnage, PvP, vehicles, and all the great crafting that they had, I'd be in that game in a second.
Crafting is so good. I think any game launching now would do well to take their crafting and mimic it. Just how every single thing in the game and all the items tie into that. Everything's made from crafting. Everything you pick up ties into crafting. So even though it's not a true sandbox gaming world necessarily, it feels like it a lot of times because the economy is important because of that. I don't know. A legitimate crafting system is a very good thing, and a lot of games feel like they just tack it on.
I agree. This would be a great crafting system for almost any game. We see some pretty bad ones. I would say that the Elder Scrolls Online crafting system is, I guess the Fallen Earth's crafting system lends itself to that type of crafting. The Elder Scrolls isn't really that robust of a crafting system. You like it though, Quint, right?
Yeah, it's I like that there's a lot of room for customization and lots of different styles of things. It's not crazy deep, where you can just kind of, it's not Mortal Online deep where you can just move these sliders and add more of this and that, and then you kind of have to figure out what the hell you're making.
Oh yeah, crafting wise, I don't think you get better than Mortal Online customization.
I don't know. I like Fallen Earth a little bit better because
really?
Mortal Online.
But can you put a sword on the end of a giant pole?
Nope, you can't. You can put a spear on the end of a pole in Mortal Online. No, but I don't know. I think that Mortal Online doesn't give you enough. There's not enough description on what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the fun of it, though.
It is if you want to do that. Because I love to craft. I don't craft in Mortal.
Yeah.
It's just you started down that path.
Yeah. I'm not a big crafter, man. There's 3 games I think that I've enjoyed crafting, and first one was Ultima Online because crafting it mattered in that game. You made everything was player made.
Noticing a theme here?
Yeah, right. Ultima, Mortal, and in Elder Scrolls Online, I like the crafting just because there's a lot of options. But
yeah, I think you'll know your real opinion on that crafting probably 3 or 4 weeks after launch. It's probably still too early to see, your actual opinion on it.
Yeah.
There's 2 things here. There's one thing is the actual act of crafting, and the other thing is does crafting matter? And I hope that the crafting does matter, because if the crafting matters, like if the best gear you're going to get is from crafting, then even a not so good crafting system is going to get my interest. But I don't know if this is making sense. It's making sense in my head.
Because Fallen Earth crafting is dump mats in, spits out material, and even worse, it takes time to take 8 hours to get something.
It's also about inventory control in Fallen Earth.
Yeah.
So, you end up running out of inventory. Anyway, I hope Fallen Earth, we always talk about it. It's one of my favorite games that I don't play. So
there's a few of those.
So Perpetuum, let's talk about that real quick. And anyone who doesn't know what Perpetuum is Eve on the ground with robots, right? For the most part.
It is definitely an Eve clone in every single way. The two big differences are it has WASD controls. So instead of right-clicking a ship and telling it to orbit or approach or warp, you have to get there on your own with WASD and your mouse. The other difference is there's line of sight. So if there's a rock formation or some kind of terrain in the way and you're using a laser, the laser won't shoot through the rock and hit the player. Eve has no line of sight. So you kind of use the terrain. You got to move your bot. So even though every single mechanic is the same as far as locking of targets, breaking targets, tackling people, weapon systems, resist, all that's the same, it ends up feeling drastically different. You're a little bit more immersed because you're physically controlling what you do in the game.
And one other difference now is that it's going buy to play. Meaning, so this is how it works. Excuse me. If you've had a subscription, if you've subbed to an account for 3 months, and actually, I don't know if that's true. Because I don't know if I subbed for 3 months. When I bought the game, I had a free month, and then I subbed for 2. Anyway, it all added up 3. If you were subbed for 3 months, you get on what's the date? April 2nd.
April 2nd.
April 2nd, your account will be opened up and you can play it free to play. If you haven't subbed for 3 months, you can buy, like right now, if you go to the store, you just buy a 3-month sub for $26, $24, something like that. $26. Then that account will be free to play on April 2nd too. And if you at one point only bought like 1 month, then you could just buy the extra 2 months, I think, right?
Yeah, so well, it's kind of important. You got about a week to make this decision, because on April 2nd, if you don't qualify for the lifetime account, you have to buy it, $26, $27.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if you can get to 3 months paid somewhere, you get the lifetime account. So if you subbed 1 month, go buy right now 2 months. On the 2nd, you have the game. Any leftover time gets converted to their cash shop coins. So like me and Coolett bought a second account. Our second account, Coolett bought 2 accounts.
I've
Our
got
second account will get 2 months worth of cash shop money.
I've got the trailer, the launch trailer playing up on the stream right here. This game looks pretty cool. It almost looks like Transformers or something.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
Not Transformers, but remember that Mech Warrior?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah. So that's where they lost a lot of people back when it came out. Is you thought you're going to play like a Mech Warrior online multiplayer game, and really it isn't it. You would spend like the first 6-8 months in a tiny little robot, spider looking thing, and so people would rush to get that big huge mech because that's what they want to play, and then you couldn't fight it all in it because you couldn't fit anything in it.
And then if it gets blown up, it's gone.
Lost all your money. Yeah, tons of money. It's very much a robot game. If you think of it that way instead of a mech game.
Like a
it might be
remote
little
control robot game.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
Did you ever play it, Quinn?
No, I never played it. And the funny thing is until you guys brought it up that it was going by to play and stuff, I completely forgot that it was even there. Like I had no memory of it. So
You should pick up one account for $26.
yeah, I probably will.
Because here's the thing. So the way it works is, so another slight difference between Eve is that when Eve, you say, okay, well, I want to learn this skill. When that skill is learned, then you put another skill to learn. You can actually kind of queue up a bunch.
Yeah.
In this game, you just get points taken away. So when you're sub, the points always tick away, and then you have this pool of points that you can spend on training.
Is that going to change?
It is going to
Yes.
change. What's going to change is that you have every 3 days. If your points tick away for 3 days. If you don't log in for 3 days, your points start ticking. Stop ticking. Sorry.
Okay.
So basically, we need someone to write a script.
Yeah.
Just to sign you in and sign you out once every 3 days.
Because I got.
Or- I'm gonna put something on my calendar. Ding,
Yeah.
log in every Perpetuum.
Yeah.
Well, so I have 2 of these accounts subbed for 3 months. While you're subbed, you don't have to log in. So if you can also still pay a subscription fee, which those skill points that we're talking about that accumulate, those will be times 1.5. So you'll get a 50% increase.
Yeah, this is their method to keep getting money.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's not going to lessen. So the amount of EP you get per day, I think it's 1 per minute, 1 EP per 1 minute.
Yes.
That stays the same on April 2nd. The difference is there will be a cash shop item that you can buy that will get you 1.5 EP every minute. So that's probably anyone that wants lots of EP or the speed their character progression can dive into the cash shop.
I think they're also going to sell resets where
Yep.
you can reset all your skills and maintain the points and respend them. And I think probably like maybe paint jobs or something. Didn't they? I forget now.
Yeah, they're going to put paint jobs in.
So, vanity stuff, which is cool. I think it's great. I mean, how awesome. Probably the game was, suffering financially, and now I've spent $60 on it. You've spent $30 on it.
Yeah, I'm buying a reset on the 2nd for my main account.
I probably will too.
Hey, a buy to play Sandbox game is awesome. You
Yeah.
can hop in and out whenever you want. No sub to worry about. I'm way into
That's cool.
You want every 3 days. I'm just kidding. So no, it's cool. There are they've added some stuff to the game since I've played last, like terraforming and you can build bases, and there's a lot of PvP, and it's like full PvP, full loot drop PvP.
It uses the Eve system, so there's I don't know what they called. I guess they call it Alpha. The Alpha Islands. You can't kill anyone there, so it works like Eve's high sec. The Beta Islands would be Eve's low sec. There's a couple more rules, not as many. You can kill anybody you want. Then there's the Eve null sec, which is the Gamma Islands, and that's where terraforming, base building, all that happens. So if you want to mine and Care Bear and play market, you can hang out on the Alpha Islands. If you want to dive into more PvP oriented and guild stuff, you can move out to the more dangerous island.
Cool. Someone want to talk about this next topic?
What do we got? Go ahead, Nate.
Good. Dostal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got into Dostal combat prototype. They're designing this game the right way. They built several prototypes to kind of iron down what systems they want to use. And they just went in heavy with their first marketing push. They made a YouTube video. They're on Steam greenlit, so we'll have that in the show notes so people can go greenlight them. The YouTube video is pretty good. When I played it, they had no art assets. They were using placeholder art.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still see in the video they don't have all the art done, but what's done there now, I think I like the way it's looking. It's a very fast action. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got the trailer playing here for it. Why do these buildings look like they're drawn with paper, like pencil, like sketched white?
So I asked him about that. Yeah, because I've been trading emails with the guy, and he said they're paper because they're not done with that art.
Oh, okay.
But they wanted to still show kind of what they're doing, so they threw it in there as like a progress video.
Right.
Yeah, it's I mean, the action combat in this game. Imagine, I guess, Darkfall in 2D, like a Darkfall Ultima game.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very fast, very skill based, and they're gonna the most unique thing about his game design, or their game design, is the game world will reset at a set time. So it'll run for a little while, and then it'll reset 3 or 4 months later, and the whole world starts over.
Did they talk about what their influence are? They influenced by Ultima Online, or?
I think their influence is just sandbox gaming in general. It seems like they're picking a lot of things to put in there. But I mean, this one feature is going to make it feel drastically different from anything else, because you're going to have a push, like, server starting, rush in, figure things out, get your base down. You'll have the mid time where you're trying to like outmaneuver, and then you'll probably have that end era where you're trying to like win whatever their win conditions are. So,
that's a good idea too, because it also like gives people a reason, like, hey, I got to get back and play this game, and then when it, if you have this dead time where it wipes and starts over, it's a great time to get back in the game.
Right. I mean, because we may get in and like it, and then we'll get in something else, and then they'll say, hey, it's restarting in June. In June, we'll go back and play it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool stuff, and I'm glad they're progressing where they are. You can see more of the game now.
Is there a way to play it?
Yeah, you can. If you go to the website, I don't know if you have to sign up, but they're when they make a prototype, they let people in to test the prototypes. So what they have now is an art prototype.
Was this a Kickstarter, or can you like pre-buy it and be invited to everything, or?
Not yet. Their announcement did mention maybe a future Kickstarter.
So if they're greenlighted on Steam, then they might have an alpha purchase on that, possibly, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they don't go the Kickstarter route, just because, I don't know.
A lot of people are doing it.
Yeah. I'm worried they may not succeed with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully, maybe the alpha Steam is a good way to go. Especially with
that
this
is sort of a gamble, because it is kind of, and I don't want to what do I know, but kind of like if you launch a Kickstarter and you don't meet your goals, it's kind of like,
That's really disheartening.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's probably disappointing to them, but it also is kind of like, like people hear that and they're like, oh, that game's probably going to suck, because it, which probably isn't the case at all. I think that Kickstarter, might have had its day in the sun as far as games go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a lot less likely to kickstart a game than I was when it first started.
Right.
Like the only one I didn't kickstart that I wish I would have was the Mark Jacobs Camelot Unchained.
Yeah, I wish I would have done that one and Shroud of the Avatar.
You didn't do that?
No.
I did that, and I kind of wish I didn't.
I'll give you the money. You give me your account.
Because the thing is that, well, I don't know. I haven't played it much lately. I also did the Star Citizen, which I have a hangar that I can go and sit in my plane. I don't know, that game. I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing about it.
Yeah, that's a problem with these. Like, I kickstarted Tug, and I don't even open their emails anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't do that one. I'm kind of looking forward to, more than Star Citizen, I'm more looking forward to Elite Dangerous for some reason, because I'm tired of hearing about Star Citizen. They seem like the same type of game. There also should be, from what I understand, they're going to launch, hopefully, or eventually, have the Oculus Rift support, which would be awesome.
For Star Citizen?
No. Well, I'm sure they will, too. I mean, I've only heard of it for Elite Dangerous. You've heard of that, have you?
No.
Jake?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna get any game like that. We're gonna have Oculus Rift support for. So they got an API the developers can use. I don't think it's that big of a deal for them to put support in their game.
I just hope that they don't do a separate one for PlayStation, Xbox, PC. They probably will, though. So annoying.
Yeah, I don't know why people do that. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 can put same servers across platforms, or Albion Online can do, all these different platforms with, with the mobile and the PC and the Windows. I don't know why people can't just put stuff across the consoles as well. I mean, they're almost just like PCs now anyways.
What did you mention, Albion Online?
Yes.
Guess what we'll be playing tomorrow?
That's right.
So, just to let you know, with the iPad version won't be around tomorrow, but
That's right.
Albion
I'm gonna
Online.
steal one of my kids' Kindles, put that shit on there, and play on a tablet.
Yeah.
Oh, can you?
I don't know. I'll try it. The Android client is out. Whether it works on a Kindle Fire or not, I don't know.
Why is the Kindle Fire like half Android or?
It's
Low
older.
processor? Yeah.
It's more like a custom kernel than regular Android.
Yeah, it's Android based. So.
So Albion Online, we've talked about it before a lot of times. I don't think we need to rehash what it is, but so they're going into alpha now. The three of us have beta keys, and some of our friends have beta keys. We're going to start playing on Monday, tomorrow,
Yeah.
or maybe when you're listening to this, it'll already be Monday. The only thing I don't know for sure is how long does this alpha go? Do we know? Or is that to be determined?
Well, it's to be determined. There's no end date. They the last alpha had a window, a week window. This one is when we feel like we have enough testing, we'll stop it. So it could be a while.
Hopefully.
Well, I don't know. I mean, hopefully yes, but the other thing is I didn't even continue to play the alpha last time, not because I didn't like the game. It's just the type of game where some of the stuff you have to do to get to where you want to go, it may not be stuff you want to repeat a bunch of times. I don't know. Did you feel that way, Nate? So you go out and collect wood. There's tier 1 wood. Tier 1 wood is everywhere. You get tier 1 wood no problem. Tier 2 wood is another story. Tier 2 wood's harder to get than tier 3.
We're playing early alpha.
That's true.
It feels polished, but the reason why they're calling it alpha is they don't have all the systems in and they're tweaking. So we'll see what's like this. Maybe there'll be more T2 than there was last time.
Yeah. But I mean, you also want to make it so that it's just not completely available, but you also don't want to make it so that you're constantly running around. I mean, the tier 2 would pop in the same spot every time, right? So it's kind of like you just sit there and wait, or after a while you knew where all the nodes were for the tier 2, so you just run around and grab them, hopefully so no one else grabbed them. That got a little bit Salem-ish, if you know what I mean.
No, I never hit Salem level of.
No, I didn't. I said ish.
Not even ish. No, because there was, I moved to the PvP zone thinking there'll be more T2 here, and there really wasn't. But there was the mobs needed there, and so being in that PvP zone, you get attacked and attack them, and call your guildmates in. So that kind of increased the action a little bit.
Yeah. No, I was completely happy with the combat and the building. It's the skill progression is more like I would say it would be more of a sort of like an achievement based than the quest based and skill based. So you gather 400 pieces of wood, and then you get this skill to make this. As opposed to having a skill that went up. So, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited that we all get to play.
Yeah,
I think there's
excited.
about 5 or 6 of us that get to play this time around, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Quinn, I linked you 2 videos. Play the second one. That shows the new content coming up.
Where? Did you
the
throw
new
it in the
what?
show notes?
Yeah, in the show notes.
Okay.
The second video next to Alpha.
Sure.
Last test had their own things you want to test. This go around, you got more characters you can pick from, and you customize them more. I think last test it was like one dude, that's it. Now you'll have a couple, and they have a female avatar. They're going to have the first stage of their player housing, so you can put down a house, put fences around it, put stuff in your house. That should be cool. Your own little personal plot. Some guild features. There's a mailing system that was in the last test. What else they put in? All kinds of stuff. Lots of tests.
Let me see. This first video is just a lot of people talking.
The online content update is one of their developers leading you through what they're going to put into this test.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to roll with Vendetta,
Manager here at Sandbox
at least
Interactive.
through
Just heard of it.
testing. I don't know what we'll do at launch. I mean, they were fun to play with. The first test, we'll see this next one. Just that way, we've got a spot where you can put down your own little
Tent.
tent. Yeah, and just so we can see that PvP content, because to get your own guild base down would require like 5 to 10 guys that are really into playing it right now, and it is alpha. So getting our own small group of guys we like to play with focused on one alpha for that long may be hard. So we're going to hang out with Vendetta and check out more of that PvP. See some of the sieges.
Yeah, right down the videos, they got the whole shows how you build a house or something like that. You buy the plot of land and kind of go through stages. It's cool looking. I love the art
Reminds me a bit
style.
of
Got
Ultimate
real
Housing.
cool art.
I like the art style in it.
Yeah, I think it the art style kind of reminds me of Torchlight a little bit.
Yeah, a little less stylized than Torchlight. Kind of hangs back a little bit on that stylized look.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited that I finally get a chance to play because I didn't get in the last time. So I'm looking forward to messing around and killing some fools and running around with all you guys. So it's gonna be good times. I can't wait to do some streaming too. Although
The game's gonna. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, although in a fully PvP sandbox game, streaming is usually a death sentence. We're gonna be
We'll
getting
have to
sniped.
put a delay. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
We were sniping people with Vendetta last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a weird feature where you could see people on the map. I forget how you saw them. So we would, I forget what they called it. We would all get into one little spot.
Mm-hmm.
So we looked like one person.
Oh, one dot. Nice.
Yeah, one dot. And then we'd wait for like 10 minutes. And then the dude we'd like explode out and kill the guy.
Is there player collision or no?
I don't think there is. I can't remember if there is. Probably not.
I don't remember there being that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The game will lend itself very well to a tablet, though. Just the controls are so basic and in a good way.
Yeah, I'm hoping some of the UI changes get in this test, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that all we have for today?
Got one more little piece of news, well, little or big, depending on how much you're looking forward to it. ArcheAge has finally got kind of some release information, talking about the business model and all that stuff. So Tryon has announced that it's actually gonna come out this year, which is, I don't know, it's great. I'm looking forward to it, and it is gonna be on their free to play like setup, whatever, same as Rift.
Yeah, the Rift free-to-play system is good.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I've played Rift lately with it, but from
Right.
what you hear, it's not a like we call it pay-to-win type system. ArcheAge just recently launched in Russia, and it is a massive hit so far. I think part of the reason why it's a massive hit is they didn't put in a lot of the 1.0 changes in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So supposedly ArcheAge 1.0 progresses the game more into a theme park instead of a sandbox. Emphasizes
1.0 as opposed to what? Pre-1?
who knows? It's their 1.0 patch. Maybe they were perpetual open beta before. I don't know. But this latest big ArcheAge patch in Korea, like there was a pirate system. So crafters would need these coins, and they would go. They would pick up a trade route. They would go on the trade route, and they would turn into coins. And then pirates in the open seas would kill those players, and get some of the coins. So that system is almost all but canned. So the piracy system, which was a really cool feature, is now not as important. And there's a lot of dailies now for those things. So people are logging in and doing PvE dailies. There's a safe zone.
Which version are we supposed to be getting?
So that's Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Russia, I'm not 100% sure on this, but Russia doesn't have all of that in.
Okay.
So that's why Russia quickly put in the IP, blocking people's IP.
Mm-hmm.
Because XL Games mad that they were losing players to Russia. What we're getting, who knows? Who knows
well, if
what
Tryon's doing it, we're going to get the most Care Bear version of the game.
Well, right, but they've got to be listening to this feedback, and I would think in this day and age, you want a sandbox.
Go on Massively and read any comment that talks about PvP and loss, and that's what Tryon's going to do. They're going to read that, and they're going to say, nobody likes PvP anymore. Nobody likes to have any sort of danger in their games, and Tryon is the worst at that. You know, name one of their games that has any PvP that's worthwhile, that you could actually have any sort of loss to it. You know,
yeah,
I'm being very negative about this, and I hope I'm wrong, but I bet you that they're going to zip that thing up, sterilize it, and make it, you know, accessible to every fool that is afraid of dying. You know,
I mean, I know the hardcore PvP happens on that certain zone where you can put down castles and stuff.
In what game?
ArcheAge. There's a separate zone. There's 7 areas.
That still happens in the Korean new sterilized version.
Yeah, but there's a safe zone there, and I mean, I don't know. It's so hard sometimes to read these posts without playing the game physically.
Sure.
But I think the problem with that area is you've got to hit end game. So you got to go through 50 levels of content. So if there's not enough sandbox stuff in that 50 levels of content, we very well may never hit this end game sandbox stuff.
See, I hope that we don't even care what level we are, you know? Because once we were playing Elder Scrolls, after we started PvP, we didn't even care what level we were.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. You know, I mean, it does matter when you hit 15, you can switch skills.
Yeah.
But besides that, and we don't know what, you know, later on what will matter. But I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about this because, I mean, I even saw people on Massively in the comments complaining about Elder Scrolls, how the PvP zone was only for PvP players. You know, it's like, what? You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, you hear this. It's like, well, forcing me to PvP. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to go to Citadel. Well, then I won't go to. Then how am I going to experience Citadel? It's like, holy crap, man.
Yeah, you know, ArcheAge has so many unique systems, similar to like what Wushu does, right?
Yeah.
Where Wushu had, I don't know, so many crazy systems. ArcheAge is kind of going for the same feel, that crazy crafting and housing and all this different stuff you can do. So I guess how fun all that is, we'll see how much legs the game has. I'm excited. It looks great.
Yeah, if we could find like something that we enjoy doing in there, and it's you know, well made and, you know, well thought out, and it's sandboxy, I guess, then yeah, fine. Tug away at that until we hit 50. I just wish that it wasn't Tryon. I hate to say it.
Well, I don't know. I don't agree. I mean, I think Tryon's a good company. I don't see why they would do something too similar to the other games that they have, because they know they've already got a limited player base on their other games. I think one good thing about Tryon is that they listen to the players, although that's not necessarily a good thing in this case. But, you know, their free-to-play model is definitely one of the best. Rift is just, it's one of the most unintrusive free-to-play models. They kind of just give you the freedom to do what you want and then to pay if you want to pay. But they don't bar you from a whole lot. So,
yeah, we're in the we got three high-budget games coming out this year alone. We didn't have that last year.
What games? Name them.
Elder Scrolls Online, WildStar,
Oh.
and ArcheAge. Those are 3 really huge budget games. And the first 2 aren't that much of a sandbox. ArcheAge, it's a hybrid. Who knows which one it leans more, sandbox or theme park? I think it's going to be a good forecast for the future, right? I mean, how good these games do long term. I don't see WildStar doing well at all. It's
I don't
so
either.
it's so theme park. It's so much of what you've done before. Its big end game is 40-man, 20-man raids. In a couple months, people are done with it.
Plus an IP or a brand new thing, which isn't always bad, but if you're doing the same thing over,
It's a good sign. So if these games do well or don't do well, we should see more games with sandbox elements in it.
we're also getting the new World of Warcraft expansion this year, which is worth mentioning, I guess, because
I'm looking forward to it. I already bought it, but that's just me.
Oh gosh.
Dude, they give
did you get your free level 90?
What my problem is? I got the free level 90, and I don't want to use it. I have no idea what to use it on, because once you use it, it's gone. I don't think there's like a return policy on that. So I haven't logged in. I haven't used it. It's just sitting there.
Do you have any other level 90s in that game?
I've got one. Yeah, I have a level 90 paladin, and I have an 85 death knight.
So don't roll those.
No, yeah, definitely.
There's no new class though, right?
No.
Huh.
No,
I think they would.
They've got the monk. The monk came out last expansion. They kind of do something every other expansion as far as class or race or something, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played that game for a long time.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, that about covers it for today, right?
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything to add?
I'd say that's a podcast right there.
Yeah. Sorry about I have like either a sore throat or allergies coming on, and I had a cough drop before, but it's starting to wear off. So you want to take us out, Quint?
Sure. Be sure to check us out at www.sandboxpodcast.com. Follow us each on Twitter at Sandbox Podcast, at Nate Ryle, and at Sandbox Quint. Also, be sure to check out any of our Twitch streams. I'm twitch.tv/SandboxQuint. Nate, what's yours?
Don't worry about mine. I'm not running it anymore, really.
Okay. Well, don't worry about that. And our YouTube, Sandbox Podcast on YouTube. Other than that, I think that's it, dude.
My
All right,
blog,
man.
lovesandboxes.com.
There you go.
Have you been writing in that?
I have. I kept up with it 1 or 2 a week.
Nice.
Cool.
Very good. I guess I should start reading it.
My words are important. Read them.
All right, man. Well, and we'll see you next week.
Later.
Peace.
Turn it off.
Ah.